What's going on, guys? In tonight's video we're going to be replacing the spark plugs on my 06 Jeep Grand Cherokee. It does have the 4.7 liter. I'm going to give you guys a quick walkthrough on how to do this. Now, I'm not a professional, but this should give you guys some help. First thing what you're going to need is obviously some sockets, some extensions, swivels, all your regular tools. As I go through, I will put a list down of what you will need, but for starters you're definitely going to need a spark plug socket. The ones I'm using is a 5/8. You can buy a kit from any of your hardware stores, Walmart, anything like that. This kit at Walmart comes with 3, costs about $6-7 bucks. I will link it down in the description. Right here under the injectors, you can see our spark plugs. We got 4 on the left side and 4 on the right side. First thing we gotta do is get the intake off, which is a 7mm. I'm going to pop the cap off of here, loosen up our connectors, and get this pulled off. Now, I'm selling this Jeep, so I just went with cheap auto-like spark plugs. I always recommend NGKs are the ones I typically use, and they will come pre-gapped. If you get cheap ones like me, you will have to actually gap them. So on these, our gap is a 0.040. Now it looks like right here there's supposed to be 2 bolts on each side, and mine is actually missing. By the looks of it, I'm going to guess they're probably a 10mm, so you should have to take those out, but on mine they are missing. Here in the back there's another intake duct, so you're going to take your 7mm and loosen it up. And this will pull right out. So now we can reach all 4 injectors and our plugs. So now with my 10mm, I'm going to take this top nut off. Injector should be able to pull up. Here's our injector. We're going to lay that softly to the side. And now in this hole, there's our spark plug. So now I'm going to take my 3/8 ratchet with an extension in my spark plug socket. Slide it down here in the hole. Looks like we're going to need a longer extension. And you should feel it seat on there since there has a rubber seal on it. Now we're going to crack it loose.
Motor, I do not recommend it at all. Obviously, always have certain torque
specs, so you want to be careful while tightening or loosening them. So here's our plug. So here's your new one. This one I've already gapped. I'm going to seat it in there very carefully. Drop it down. I recommend anything with the motor torquing to the specs. These are supposed to be at 13 foot-pounds of torque off of 2 of the forms I read. If it is something different, I am wrong. Definitely comment that down below, guys. Like I said, I'm not a professional, but I'm going to go through as I get done with this and torque all of them down at the very end. The biggest problem you'll have is either 1, getting to a plug, or 2, trying to get your socket off the spark plug, since it does have rubber seal, it likes to stick. So as you can see, it's popped off twice. I'm going to grab another tool for that. So needle and those pliers, I'm going to stick in here, pull them apart, and it'll pull right up. That way I don't forget to torque it down, but I'm not going to tighten it yet.
spark plugs are made out of porcelain.
Doesn't hurt to replace injectors, but if you've got a motor like mine that has 8 of them, it can get very expensive too. So if you're chasing a problem, if you want to do a tune-up, spark plugs are usually pretty cheap to replace. And we're going to go ahead and get the second one for the next cylinder, and I've got a code on. If it ever gets tight while you're putting it in there, pull it out, reset it, do it a few times. Last thing you want to do is cross thread one of these. I promise you, it'll make a very simple, cheap job turn into a long and expensive project. Now we'll put our injector back on. Make sure it seats properly. And that right there is how you properly change the spark plugs on your 06 Jeep Grand Cherokee. I'm going to go ahead and do the last 6 that are left, and then I'll come back to you guys and we'll put this thing back together. Alright guys, so back here in the back, I was using 2 6-inch extensions on the front 2 that I just showed you. And with the other 6-inch attached to this 6-inch, which obviously equals 12 inches, we don't have much room here. So I would recommend using a 3-inch on top. That way you have enough room to get your ratchet in there and actually pull it up. And we're going to use this on both You might have to unplug these. I think I'm gonna be able to work right around them, but I will let you guys know when we get done. All right guys, so I just got this third one right here done. Did not have to disconnect these, but like I said, a 6-inch and a 3-inch extension works perfect. But I want to show you this back one right here because it's probably gonna be the toughest one. So same extension link, 3-inch and a 6-inch extension. I always like to use swivel extensions. Gives you a little bit more leverage. But that on the 3/8 ratchet actually fits perfect right under this line and between this line. So you just gotta get it slid in there. The only other thing you'll need is a short 10mm to actually reach the bolt here on this injector and on this injector back here, because with the deep well it's too tall. It'll actually hit these plugs. Now you can unplug them if you don't have them, but I would recommend a short instead of a long. All right, so now we have all the new plugs in. They're all tightened down to the correct torque spec. We're gonna go ahead and put our breather box on and then our air intake here. We got a plug here we got to connect. Like I said, you'll have 2 bolts on each side. I don't have them. I will get someone to put in there, but for now we're just going to get this thing reattached. So you have 4 little slots here that we're going to tuck in back here. Now we're going to connect our inlet. There's a hose here on the side, and then our clamps on the front of the box. And there you have it guys, that is how to replace the plugs on your 06 Jeep Grand Cherokee. Like I said, I'm not a professional. I'm not saying everything in this video is correct, just the way I do it. If you enjoyed the video, definitely hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. I greatly appreciate it. I'll have a few more videos on this Jeep as I am getting ready to sell it. If there's anything you guys would like to see, comment that down below. I appreciate all the support, and I'll catch you guys next video.